Hello everyone, it's me, Jorash Manabat from 11 STEM Discord, and our content is for planning to raise awareness about conserving, protecting, and making wise use of the Earth's resources from the future generation. Later on, we will discuss the factors that can affect from environment and people's health. Carbon dioxide. One of these is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a typical greenhouse gas that exists naturally in the atmosphere and contributes about 75% of emissions in the air we breathe. This can survive in the atmosphere for a very long time. How can carbon dioxide emissions affect us in our environment? Although plants and human life can benefit from exposure, the excessive carbon dioxide can have a negative impact on your health. This comprises a variety of symptoms like headaches, dizziness, agitation, difficult breathing, tiredness, convulsion, elevated blood pressure, and accelerated heart rate. Example of this that affects in our environment is climate change. Heat will be trapped in the environment to a greater extent the more carbon dioxide is trapped in the atmosphere. That affects climate change and cause increase in global temperatures. This leads to extreme weather conditions like wildfires, tropical storm, heat waves, and lack of rain, which have a negative impact in a crop out in alter regular routines of the animals. In people health, it can cause a respiratory disease to humans. Carbon emissions affect human life directly by causing more respiratory complications due to the increase in air pollution. Even worse, carbon emissions kill some animal species and destroy food, which highly affects humans. How can we reduce carbon dioxide's emission in the atmosphere? Reduce the greenhouse gas emissions responsible for climate change. We must use more renewable energy and do so more effectively. Driving vehicles that use less gasoline, electricity, or other alternative fuels is necessary. Society will need to take actions to address climate change in the fields of electricity building, transportation, land use, and in industry, as well as local, state, and federal governments. Pesticides can be found in your lawn, the soil, and even water sources that they kill weeds or insects, but they can also be harmful to other organisms, such as fish that might swim near pesticides because they need oxygen, birds that eat them for food, and others. How can pesticides affect us in our environment? Pesticides are poisonous substances that are intended to be released into the environment on purpose. Although each pesticide is intended to kill a particular pest, a significant portion of them end up in location other than where they were intended to go, where they can cause harm and variety of levels from environmental poisoning. With inhalations exposure, it may have negative effects on humans' health, all the way of the plants or animals. When pesticides run off from fields, they can easily contaminate the air, ground, and water. They can spill out of storage tanks or are improperly disposed of, which can result in their release into streams. Spray pesticides all have high potential of contaminating our environment if these products are not handled with care during application. What will be the solutions to reduce pesticides? We must immediately assist farmers in fundamentally alternating the farming practices. This is definitely achievable without the use of pesticides. As organic farmers, throughout the workshop with the help of nature and farming techniques, Farmers hope to develop a more sustainable system that doesn't rely on chemicals. Farmers can make our farms and rural areas into health ecosystem that can provide an abundance of good food and reasonable price with low emissions and a variety species. But the farms to make the change, the government must regulate, encourage, and provide support. Chlorofluorocarbons have only been around for the past 60 years and are only of industrial origin. Chlorofluorocarbons are extremely potent greenhouse gas that also cause stratospheric ozone to be destroyed. How do chlorofluorocarbons harm the environment? Halons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, and chlorofluorocarbons all damage the ozone layer, which protects the planet from the damaging ultraviolet UVB rays from the sun. Additionally, warming the Earth's lower atmosphere, it alters the climate on the global scales. Effects of chlorofluorocarbons in human health. It has an impact on the central nervous system when inhaled, similar to how alcohol intoxication manifests in hallucination of the can cause dizziness, headaches, tremors, and convulsions. It can also disturbance in the cardiac rhythm, which can be fatal. The Centers for the Disease Control of the Prevention warn the exposure to significant amounts of chlorofluorocarbons may result asphyxiation. How to reduce the chlorofluorocarbons? Limiting the use of chlorofluorocarbons. To reduce it is important to reduce their emissions, increase in temperatures, create harmful effects in the environment and on all organisms, and is also being discouraged because the molecules of it do settle in the atmosphere and UV rays break these molecules, which cause ozone depletion. And that's for today's video. Again, it's Jorash Manabat from 11 STEM Discord. I hope you learned something from me that can help you gain from knowledge about the impacts of chemical hazards of the environment and people's health. If you have more questions or would like to be just comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you and goodbye.